Welcome back to Shady Lane Acres. Today, I need to go gather some more firewood. We try to keep our house warm mostly with firewood, just because it's kind of the cheapest option. And we do have an abundance of trees around. A lot are dead. I was really kind of hoping to have the whole year's supply ready before winter hit. Last year we got here in July, and by the time we got the house ready to go and stuff like that, we really didn't have much time to gather and get firewood split and ready. So this year I thought, oh man, we'll be caught up. I'll have my log splitter going and we'll do a bunch of stuff during the summer and get at least have a winter's worth of firewood ready. Not even close. So I got a couple days worth of firewood left, maybe a day's worth. So I'm heading out to do some cutting and gather. And it don't take me long to make about a week's worth, 2 weeks worth. So here's kind of, call it our forest. It's on each side of our shady lane. There's a lot of dead trees in here, deadfall. A lot of it's still standing. But I'm going to try and gather these two today. They're pretty big. They'll provide quite a bit of wood. So this kind of kills us two birds with one stone. You know, it gets us firewood, but also starts clearing out some of the dead trees in here so that some of the live ones can start to flourish a little bit. So there's two over there. There's two or three pretty good ones in there. I will admit it's a bit difficult to fell these trees just because there's so much in here. When they fall, you know, they just kind of land on another tree, and then I gotta drag them out or cut them up to get them in there or to get them out. So as we get these dead ones out, what we'll probably do is, if we end up with too big of a bare spot, we'll bring in some bigger trees, you know, 4 or 5 footers. We have planted a lot of trees this year. Next year we're going to plant a lot. We showed you in the other video what we planted for trees, and they were pretty small and they didn't do great. So next year I think we're going to try something a little bit bigger ones from a different company. But as many trees as I'm trying to plant, I can't sit there and spend $200-300 on trees. So I guess I'm going to go get my chainsaw. I'm going to figure out where to set you guys to kind of watch this. So I knew this one was going to be interesting. And this I was talking about how they can be really interesting to get down. So you can see this giant tree that I haven't dealt with yet. I'm not entirely sure how to. But as you can see, this one is through the crook of that. Oh, where's it at? There it is. So it's holding it up. So I'll probably wrap a chain around the bottom. But on top of that, I got, this is where there was once an old fence line. There's a post you can kind of see. So there was an old fence line there, which is probably why you have a lot of these volunteer trees, because the birds would land on it, you know, and poop. Sorry, a bit tired. And my chain is pretty dull, but it's pretty easy to hit that fence, or pretty hard to stay out of the fence when you're cutting, just because of how tangled up it all is. So I didn't really want to put a new chain on just to hit the wire fence and ruin it. So now it is cut. Now the big secret's going to be is how to get it out of there. We'll find out. It might be quite the adventure. brought Bambi over. I got a Made in the USA 12.5-ton shackle, so that should be strong enough. I have I think these are from Grubbers, who makes these chains. And they're kind of special for pulling trees. Got little bars welded onto the links to grab. They work pretty slick. I use them to pull out saplings and stuff. It was more at my parents' house in my old place. We don't really have saplings to pull out here. And then this tree, I'll kind of try and stumble over. There's all kinds of branches and stuff on the ground. But I cut partway up this branch at that Y. I only went partway through. Partially, it's all a higher, I can't reach very good, so it's really not very safe to begin with. And then I know as soon as that breaks, that whole tree's gonna roll towards me, and there's no way to get on the other side of it. So as far as safety goes, it's just not a good way to do it. So what I'm hoping is, as I pull this tree that's up there in that Y, I'm hoping it falls that way and it breaks that branch, and then I'll deal with the rest of it either today or another day. I'm kind of hoping that that branch there actually has, if it's not rotted too bad, that's a lot of good firewood there, I hope. And I know burning this type of stuff ain't the best, but you know what, we're not terribly picky. If it burns, that's what matters. So the idea, I got it on the bottom, I clipped the fence that was underneath, you know, that was wrapped around it. I'm gonna pull it this way and hopefully drag it out, cut it up into small pieces, and take it over to the log splitter. We will see what happens. Gravity and inertia and stuff like that sometimes changes my plans, but we'll see what happens. That didn't work too bad. I don't know, maybe when I review the film I'll change my mind. This is kind of what happens a lot of times. It was pulling out good. There's just so many trees here. You know, now it's caught on that tree. I don't know, that tree, probably not one we want to keep, because we'll probably keep the one next to it. Obviously we're called Shady Lane Acres. So as far as keeping these trees that are along the path, I don't want to lose too many. When we kind of get things cleared out here, I will probably plop a tree down right here in the middle, and then, you know, it'll grow. And then when it gets, say, 20 foot tall, starts getting into these, I'll start trimming up, you know, these canopies to allow this one to grow. And then when it's big enough, we'll take out these two on the side. And we'll just kind of keep that, because most of these are hackberries or mulberries. They're not bad trees, but, you know, they're probably all voluntary. And so we'll just keep working on, I'll probably put mostly oaks and maples. I don't know, I gotta do a little more research on that, talk to some people. But that actually went pretty well. That's a nice change of pace for doing this. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring Bambi, turn her around, and then I'm gonna pull that the other direction, and we should be plenty far out from that tree, and it should just swing around. I mean, you know, why wouldn't it work that easy? That would have been a lot easier with a sharp chain. Well, we got a big chunk of it. Now I'm going to try and do the same thing with that chunk. Tuck you way over here out of the way. So I don't know if you can see or hear it in the video. There's branches and stuff falling down. They're little ones. So when you're doing stuff like this, especially when you're doing the actual cutting. And I'm no professional. Don't take my advice necessarily as gospel. But you always want to have an escape plan, because trees do weird stuff, especially when you're in something like this where they're all bunched up and weird shaped and dead. So you always want to have an escape plan. Like as I started to get through that tree, I don't know if you noticed, I switched sides, partially because I saw what the tree was wanting to do. Because a lot of times it don't matter what you want the tree to do, what it's going to do is what it wants to do. But I switched sides, and mostly that was to use this tree here as a way to protect me. If that other tree fell, I could just take a step or two back, and that tree would protect me from that big old chunk of branch hitting me. So that's one thing, like if you ever do start cutting wood, you know, you always, you know, take it real slow, and you want to have an escape plan so that you know where you're going to go if things go south, where you can get out of the way in a hurry. That's about my only advice I'm going to give you. I will tell you, if you want to learn how to sharpen chains, adjust your chain right, stuff like that. I mean, it sounds like a stupid plug for Steel, but Steel's website has great videos on how to maintain your chainsaw and take care of it and stuff like that. How to sharpen your chains, how to adjust your chains, when to adjust your chains. That's all I'm going to say as far as how to on this video, or pretty much any video. I do really need to cut one of these straps off this chain thing. It's a little long. This would probably be a whole lot easier to do with the winch on my excursion, but the excursion's still sitting in the shop, torn to pieces. And I just haven't had time to work on it. Kind of learning a lot about trying to do projects like I used to do, and having 10 acres of neglected acreage to take care of. All right, trees on the ground. I'm going to go change my chain, cut these into smaller pieces, and then we'll head to the splitting process. Well, we're about to find out how heavy this is. Oh, I'll probably pay for that tomorrow. So it is, I think it's about 30, 35 degrees out. I don't know what's considered warm or decent, but it's too much for two big sweatshirts, that's for sure. And my pants are insulated. It was 18 degrees when I was up this morning, gathering the last bit of firewood into the house and taking care of the chickens and ducks. That was cold. Oh, what the heck? I'd guess. Yeah, pretty much. Go fill it up. Be right back. Now it's down to manageable bite-sized pieces. I think I got quite a bit of firewood in this whole thing. Guess we'll find out after the next step. So 2 weeks ago, it might be 4 weeks now, we had to break down and go buy a log splitter. It's not a high dollar one. It's from our local Tractor Supply. I think it's 35 ton. It does the job. I was splitting everything with an axe, and we actually got through last winter just fine doing that. But I split about a week's worth of work a few weeks, month and a half ago. And the next day, my side was hurting. Didn't think much of it. It really wasn't too bad. And then the next Saturday, I tried to go and start splitting again and did about 3 logs, and it was just killing me. I mean, it was bad. And so we've kind of come to the conclusion, like I said, I did all last year. Was really able to keep up pretty well. I kind of liked it for the exercise. Thought it helped keep me in shape. But we needed firewood, and there was no way I was going to be able to split it with the way my side was. And I went to the doctor. They couldn't really tell for sure. I think I just pulled that side, the muscles in your side, and also that's where your shoulder, the big muscle in your shoulder connects down there too. But I was fairly incapacitated for a few days. Popping a lot of ibuprofen and Tylenol. Couldn't sleep very good. It's kind of comes with the territory. It's not like it's the first time I hurt myself. But, we needed firewood. We needed it now. And we probably also needed a way that, if I'm slightly injured or, something happens, that my wife can do it or I can do it not being hurt. I've said in other videos, I got my grandpa's old log splitter that he built 50 years ago that I need to get going again. And I will still do that because that'll probably put this little thing to shame. But I just, like a lot of the projects around here, just trying to keep up with the day-to-day stuff, as far as, in the summer we was doing the garden and we was doing the chickens and doing little things here and there, And so a lot of stuff it's tough when you work a full-time job and try and do this at the same time. We're not necessarily living off the land or homesteading and, off-grid. We do have other ways to heat our house besides firewood, but I don't feel like going broke this winter doing that. So we broke down and went and purchased this a few weeks ago, and it's really been kind of a lifesaver. So we'll get to splitting. So I got 1 wagon load. We're gonna pull it up to the house. I'm gonna guess there's a lot of you going, what in the world? Why aren't you using Bambi to get it up to the house? Well, according to John Deere specs, Bambi weighs like 8,000 pounds. So, she's not small by any means. And while our yard will probably never be, yard of the week worthy, I don't really want huge ruts in it. At least this part of the yard. And I don't know if we've shown the patio that the previous owners built, but it's kind of cool, but I don't think it's very sturdy. So I don't really like driving Bambi on it. So that's why I'm doing this the hard way. So there's 1 wagon's load worth of split wood on there. I think it takes about 3 wagons to fill that up. And that'll last us a week to 2 weeks, depending on the weather, how much we're home. Once I get this filled again, the rack of wood, that'll be the 4th time we filled it this winter already. It is December 11th. So we still got January, February, probably part of March. We'll be burning still Just depends a lot on how the weather goes. And then really pretty much all December. I'm hoping to get this filled up and it'll last us till Christmas, because my boys are going to be back the week after Christmas, and I have the week after Christmas off. So guess who's going to help me gather firewood, split it, and stuff like that? They are. I took care of them for 20 some years. They can help me out now. Well, back over to do some more splitting. I'm all done splitting that one tree I cut down, and that's what we got. I'm not gonna lie, I was really hopeful that that was gonna be a lot more firewood out of that tree, but that's probably a good week's worth, maybe better. Keep us warm for a while. I have to go pick up my coat and my hat and my chain, put a few things away, and then I believe I'm gonna go in the house and warm up a bit. It's a little chilly out still. But we'll walk over here, show you this. I don't know, it's 40 degrees out. The wind's blowing pretty good. There's all the chickens and ducks. They're all out foraging for some food. We did get a little snow the other day, or last night, probably a half inch. It's mostly melting off. Everything in the sun's melting off now. And if you care to know any more about our place, what we're doing, what we've done, check out some of our other videos. There'll be some links there. Tell me in the comments what you think of our videos, what we could do to improve them, what maybe you'd like to see from our videos, and maybe we can accommodate you. I don't know if anybody's curious or not about something that they've seen in the background or we've mentioned in passing. So if you'd want to know more about something in particular, give me a shout.